Hey yo, what's good? What's going on, everyone? Everywhere, welcome back to another video, man. Look, man, Diablo 4 Vessel Hatred is out. It is popping, man. If you haven't checked out the stream, check out the stream, man. I've been trying to test some stuff out, doing some other things. We got a world boss coming up here in a bit, but nonetheless, I gotta finally kind of got a build going on that does not require aspects like that. You only need one aspect, no one aspect only, and it's gonna be this one right here, Quill Volley. It's kind of like think a Bone Spear from Necro. You throw them out and they come back. Okay. Now this one it wrecks. It wrecks. To say the least, it wrecks. Okay. We gonna come right here. We gonna gather everybody over, and you kind of see how the Quill Volley is just wrecking. It's doing pretty good damage. But nonetheless, let's go over here and save some so we ain't gotta worry about that. Nonetheless, this is what we're gonna be doing for our spirit hall when you do get up to what is it, like 15-ish, and then you got 30 down here. I went gorilla. Now I get gorilla because it essentially just heals you. Okay. You are gonna pretty much have a constant barrier up, and at least when you're like above half HP, it seems like it just heals you. Like above 3/4, I just keep getting healed without having to press like the potion or anything like that. You saw a little bit on stream. It didn't always work, especially if you get lower in health. But above like 3/4 health, it seemed like it heals you and gives you that barrier. Um, the eagle, extra crit strike chance. That's about it. Um, this will just give you more damage reduction. This, I actually might go with this too. But right now, crit strike chance is pretty nice. It's only 4%, so there's that. But it's not much nonetheless. You can definitely swap these two out. I had to go with crit strike chance just to save side on a couple things. Nonetheless, ferocity doesn't really do much for what you're trying to do. Let me put on one of the skills. Okay, see, you see, it's just increase your attack speed. That's about it, which is cool. By all means, it's cool, but it's not needed. But nonetheless, I kind of went with how I originally started. I tried going all centipede, all gorilla, and I even tried to do some jaguar as well. Eagle just seems to be the best. It just feels the best. It actually feels like you hit them hard, and you kind of move about your day. All right, and you got to sit here and wait forever with the poison, and then this just doesn't feel like it hard enough. I don't know why you're trying to be like Druid, but you just don't hit hard enough. And this just hit ones and twos. I'm appalled. Nonetheless, Thunder Spike is really what we're only really going with it mainly because of the evade cooldown. You'll see why here later on. So definitely, get more vigor, evade cooldown. It's all good. And then full volley just to pick up off our aspect. Only really one that we want to use like that. Makes enemies vulnerable, so that's very, very good. And throws out 3 additional feathers, deal increased damage per hit. It's just very, very good, nonetheless. This you don't really need. I mean, crit chances. It's cool, but you're more likely not going to hit crit chance at the moment. I try to like stack this with the one spirit, the eagle spirit, and it really didn't do nothing for me. So nonetheless, I wouldn't recommend it. I would just go ahead and get advantageous quill volley, call it a day. You don't have to worry about nothing here. Vortex is very, very good, especially when you can increase your next skill by 20%. So that's very, very good. Now that I've actually looked at this, Ravager is actually kind of insane. Now what Ravager does, I've tried Soar, it's a bit slow. That skin was cool if you're doing like poison, but nonetheless, Ravager is really what you want. You only really want Vortex to group them up for the ultimate, and just do more damage in your ultimate or whatever skill you're about to use. The Ravager is insane. You just keep doing more damage per attack. It's actually kind of crazy. Per enemy for 6 seconds. That's crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and throw an extra point in there. just see what we're working with. As you see, also we can extend the duration by getting more kills. Our next core skill does makes us dash towards enemies, gets more regeneration for our resource, so it's just good all around. Nonetheless, Ravager is very, very good. I was actually using this unrestrained power for the unhindered and unstoppable to do more damage, but I actually might just put these two both into Ravager here, just because I was only really doing this when I had Armor Hide. Armor Hide was very, very good for a little bit, but then I realized that I wasn't still doing enough damage, and it just wasn't worth it. So, nonetheless, we went back to counterattack, even though I did kind of not like it. But because of how fast we're going before, because of how everything is kind of synergizing with one another, counterattack is still very, very good. And we just mainly use for a buff, not for any kind of damage. We got one into resilience. I want to put more into this as I get a couple more skill points, or not skill points, power points, or whatever. Are these skill points? I think it's skill points. I put more into resilience. It goes up to 15%. It's pretty good. And since all of our skills are gorilla, thanks to our spirit hall here, it's very good. And then we'll do increased damage knockdown. Enemies will get knocked down for sure. If you do the vortex here, you knock down enemies for 3 seconds. That is very, very good. It helps. You just do more damage for everything. So I mean, there's that. If you don't have anything that knocks down outside of that, this is more like guaranteed, because actually it does knockdown. We have a very active, and because whenever we do anything at all, we just generate barrier. It's perfect. And the 300% extra damage is kind of insane. But nonetheless, yeah, this is pretty good for the time being. I definitely went ahead and got Brilliance and Acceleration first. Getting 3 additional dodge charges is crazy, and you really want the dodge charge to get 30% multiplicative increased damage to your Eagle skills. Okay, now Eagle skills is our Quill Volley. It's insane. It's just very, very good, to say the least. And now you also get increased Eagle skill damage based off of move speed. Move speed is kind of low at the moment, so it's only 9% multiplicative, but hey, you can scale this up a little bit higher. And then our Jaguar one, because we are using Jaguar skills like counterattack, like Ravager, like our ultimate skill, we get increased by 30% multiplicative, so that's very, very good. And then get the more critical strike damage, multiplicative, burst attack velocity. So it's just good all around. Nonetheless, we got Hunter as our ultimate. I was just Centipede. I loved a lot the Devourer. The Protector is if you actually want to do kind of a lot of damage, the Seeker actually kind of goes crazy for just single target damage, like boss damage. But I will say, if you're taking out adds and enemies, multiple enemies, as we're doing here, playing through this campaign, the Hunter is just very, very good. Now, one of the reasons why it's very, very good is because, 100% multiplicative increased damage to injured enemies for 8 seconds is kind of crazy. Plus, again, there's 4 more stacks, so it's pretty good. And then when you go into Exalted Hunter, the 40% chance to reset this cooldown happens a lot. Now, yes, it does say this is half effort each consecutive reset. I've happened to have like 4 resets all back to back, so it's still pretty good, to say the least. Now, what I like to go ahead and do, and then I get Vital Strikes here just for increased 45% multiplicative increased damage to vulnerable enemies. Now, Gold Volley makes them vulnerable, so I mean, hey, 1 and 1 makes 2. Say the least, the other ones kind of don't really good for what we're kind of going for. This is actually pretty insane, but we don't have poison at the moment, so there's that. But nonetheless, you'll kind of see the setup is pretty simple. Ideally, you want to go ahead, for me, it's the R1, R2, so you do counterattack your Ravager, hit the Vortex Brim all together, hit your ultimate to go ahead and start killing stuff, and then you just hit a cool volley, okay? Now, I like to go ahead and continuously always do my base attack, just so I have enough for cool volley when I need to keep spamming it out like that. Uh, and I got one of those controllers right on the back button, so hey, it just works out that way where I just hold that down. But as you see here, for gear-wise, it does not matter. We don't have anything super major important. I like the vigor per second; it's very, very good. I just been trying to get more dexterity. Life per second is pretty good. Um, yeah, there's none really here besides resource cost is cool, but 2% is not about to do anything at all. Dexterity is pretty good, so there's that. Dexterity life per second, and max life is also good. Armor is pretty good, um, but nonetheless, I don't have those rolls for the highest stuff at the moment. Now, for boots, I will say attacks that reduce evade cooldown by seconds actually insane. Just because we can always pretty much constantly re-proc uh, this right here, the acceleration, getting that extra 30%. So we can kind of dodge attack, dodge attack, dodge attack, just because of sheer amount of attacks with the Ravager going on, with Vortex going on, with the Hunter going on. I mean, everything's just popping so many times that this is going to be constantly up thanks to the boots. Okay, so that's just that. Uh, this is cool, but it doesn't really proc, and I just literally just put it on. The only one that you're really gonna need is this right here, Quill Volley. It's just very, very nice. Luckily, I got early, thank the Most High Yah. But yeah, you don't need anything else. This resource one is actually pretty good, I will say. It allows me to keep hitting out those Quill Volleys as needed um, when I am in a kind of a pinch. So that's insane. But nonetheless, that's pretty much it. You kind of see what we're going for in this build. Try it out. Let me know in the comment section down below how you like it, what's going on with it. This is actually insane. It's letting me get level 36. I'm having pretty much ease with everything else now. And just so you know, if you want to figure out for all my console players, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, if it just tells you that your trial expired, which it did to me, even though I paid for the DLC beforehand, I pre-ordered it. It only lets you get like level 36. I'm not sure where in the story it kind of has a cutoff point as well, so whichever one hits first. But nonetheless, if you back out the game, close the game, I did check for update. There was no update, and I did restore my license. Okay, restored license. I went right back in. Perfectly fine. I'm good to go. So that's another little way how to get that going. Remember, always have you a elixir of some sort. Always pops on here. And without further ado, peace and shalom. This is a great, great, great build. Eagle plus Jaguar is actually kind of insane. I always thought it would be Gorilla and Centipede, which I think they are, especially in the later game, but early game, without pretty much any aspects, it's going to be this. If you don't have Quill Volley for whatever reason, I would still probably try to recommend this. Okay, the coming back portion is nice, but it's not life threatening. Stinger was cool, but Quill Volley just with extra vulnerable and everything that it's doing is just insane. It's just you want to go with Quill Volley, say the least. Without further ado, peace and shalom.